Welcome in, everyone, to the 45th episode of Whispers in Silence. Tonight's episode is titled The Jungle of Pestilence. Last time, the party finished up their fight with the goddess of, or the dread demon of darkness, I should say, Selene. They were able to emerge triumphant against Selene Perihelion and Selene Aphelion. And afterwards, as they were expecting, Rialta began to ignite, and just as with the others, her spark instead manifested in the form of a weapon.
I got a weapon from it.
The Twin Star Staff. Your tattoo also evolved to its final form, and the Whispers reached level 15. So, I hope everybody leveled up. A lot of eyes looking like, I don't know if I did.
I think I did right.
I don't remember if I did my health.
This
I think
is
I
why I
did.
do my health
I did.
before we all disperse when we level up.
Yep. So you are
Because
on
I
level
don't trust
15.
I don't trust future me to remember.
Yep. Future me is such a bitch. Anyway.
Hey!
Hey! We all made our way back down the tree, and at the bottom ran into Martine, who was busy digging some graves for the bodies that he made. He voluntarily surrendered himself after Yuki recalled everyone back to the grove. She had to wait a night because she didn't have any 6th level spell slots available, but she was able to use her word of recall to bring everyone back to the to Ash Oak, to the Shrine of Laki, where Martine did indeed surrender himself into the custody of the grove, or into the custody of Ash Oak, to await whatever punishment was deemed fitting for him. A couple other things happened at the end of the session. Soraya popped the question in the most Soraya way possible, in that she handed Caldana a ring and said, okay, let's do this now. And that was basically it. We had Fala talk to Melisandre, who has been given an interesting conundrum in that Yuki has offered to use regeneration and restore her eyesight, and she is torn on whether she wants to. We also had Lana. We found out Lana is very eager to try and talk to Rialta and take some samplings from her because of her impromptu journey to the Divine Realm and her subsequent return.
I mean, Rialta understands. This makes sense to her.
Yeah, I would think Rialta would be on board. Rialta is a lady of science.
Yes, absolutely.
And let's see. And indeed, Rialta also spoke with Carmen to, well, give a admittedly biased opinion on what should be done with Martine. And you were all told you would be summoned when it was time for his trial. So that's where we'll begin tonight. In the central point of the city, not a stone's throw from the wall of the remembered, people have begun gathering. The new Whispers are all there. Even Soraya has chosen to attend. Carmen is standing on the stump of a tree, inviting people to join in and witness, as these things should not be done behind closed doors. Standing off to the side is Martine Sunvale. He's unrestrained, as Carmen didn't believe he would cause a scene. And if he did, well, all the new Whispers are here, and all the Whispers are here, so probably could handle it. As you all approach, he offers a small smile to you, Rialta, a grateful look for your presence.
She'll nod back.
There's probably about 40 or 50 people here who are come to witness this, and speak if they feel so so driven. Carmen finally speaks to get things underway. This is something that we have done precious few times over the last decade, and I am thankful for that. But it is nevertheless important that trials of our alleged criminals be done publicly. If we are to impose sanction when resources are as thin as they are, it must be done away from veils and secrecy. We're here today to hold trial for Martine Sunvale. out of respect for Sir Sunvale's service to this world, I'll forgo a formal reading of the charges. No, interrupts Martine. Read them. She nods. And as you stand there listening to Carmen read off a list of charges against Martine, you can't help but have a strong feeling of deja vu. Was it really so long ago that you stood in the courthouse of Mina's Grove as Carmen was put on trial? As she finishes, she looks at Martine. Do you dispute any of these charges? He shakes his head. I plead guilty on all accounts. Carmen nods. Would anyone speak on his behalf? Yuki immediately stands up. And at that, any whispering or murmuring in the crowd goes silent. She steels herself, taking a breath. I would love to get up here and tell you all that my brother was an idiot and a fool. But his crimes go far beyond that. He surrendered himself to a dread demon, and countless many paid for his mistake with their lives. I cannot justify in my mind or anyone else's what he chose to do. But I can say this. While we were all terrified and unwilling to hear that Scala had returned, he rallied us to war. When we sat around and argued amongst ourselves, he served in the Inquisition and kept us safe. I'm angry beyond words with him, but he is a good man. And more than that, he is a capable leader and wants Dia Scala dead more than anyone. I plead for him to be put into service and not given the easy escape of death. You would have him pay for his crimes? Then have him do so. She sits back down. There are those in the audience who take a turn to speak, some in support, some against, some who lost family the day Dia Scala became Dia Scala, some who lost family at his blade. And he stands stoically during all of it, listening. Apparently he was well aware this wasn't going to be a fun process for him.
Are any of us allowed to speak?
Yep. You are all members of Ash Oak, and you've killed 3 dread demons, so I think probably buys you a little leeway to talk if you want to.
Does anybody want to, or should I just go?
I kind of figured you'd go first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to say
Or last.
Yeah, if you want to go last.
It's up to you guys. But if no one knows, I can go. That's fine.
Okay.
You missed it.
Yeah, well, I'll stand up. Wow. I don't truly know this man the way the others do. In my life, I found it to be true that the specific deeds, while important, are frequently secondary to the why, the reasons, and the circumstances. Can we accept those who took Scala's offer and turn him away when he was attempting, in his own perhaps misguided way, to fight back? I do not think we can.
There are murmurs and rabbles. Rabble, 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 rabble.
Varys will step forward. Does this man deserve to die? That's the question. The only thing you need to put to yourselves is whether or not conviction here means he should die. You can say that you will exile him. and he will go into the world either killed by Scala's strange angelic archons or ensorcelled to live a lie that we will soon break, or perhaps divine wrath will be seen upon him. Or we can tear him apart here. So, I make no effort to defend or condemn his actions. But I think it is important that all in attendance understand what is here. We argue to mete out justice. We debate to mete out justice. Whether he lives or dies, the things he's done will not be undone. Whether he lives or dies, the people who turned their backs on each of you and live in a rapacious lie, it will not change how they have hurt you. Whether he lives or dies, it will not change the anger that you have towards him or anyone else. Perhaps you question why I chose to speak at all if I do not have something to say in his defense. That is because I think the most important thing here is not the result. It is why we do it. Whatever becomes of Martine Sunvale, whether he is judged to be guilty or to be allowed to stay, I take it back. He is guilty. All we're here to judge now is what is to be done with him. So whether he is killed, and make no mistake, if we do not allow him to stay and join us, that is what happens. Then no, because it was intentional. Because we wanted him dead. And if we choose to let him stay, it's because we think it is better that he lives. I know what my thoughts are. But I have not been here with all the rest of you. So all I would ask, if you will indulge me in the place that used to be my home, is that remember that we are pursuing justice. I will not tell you that vengeance does not feel, at times, fulfilling. But that is not our purpose here. And each one of you will not get your pound of flesh. There is nothing that we can do that will undo what has happened. The question is who we want to be. What we want the future to be built on. That will determine what our justice is going to be, and what the future of justice will look like for this group. That is all.
I have a quick question, Callie.
Okay.
How many of Caldana's people are here?
I would say there are a healthy number of the tieflings of the Kartok who accompanied you back, especially a number who had served you at one time. Here, there's probably 5 or 6 of the 50 or so people who are attending this. Probably 5 or 6 of them are tieflings.
Caldana will stand up. Right.
As you do, the 5 or 6 tieflings who are here all clap their hands together a single time. It's a sign of recognition of their matriarch speaking.
Right. Here's the fact of the matter. A few of you here, and she'll kind of nod at the tieflings, knew who I was in the previous life. I promised you unity in that we would charge down from the mountains and lay waste to the continent. In all likelihood, I may have ended up a dread demon to rival Scala. If I hadn't been given a second chance, a chance at redemption, there would only be 4 whispers in silence. And then she'll just leave it at that.
Once again, as you conclude speaking, the 5 or 6 tieflings all clap again, single time. Melody, did you want to speak?
Yeah. She kind of like clutches at her tail, kind of like wringing at it, like she just has like the tip of her tail and she's just kind of like wringing at it as she stands up.
I first met this man when he had gathered people that we just saved and put them in quarantine instead of helping them out. And I remember at the time feeling very, very angry about it. But over time, I realized that Martine is a man who takes his responsibility seriously. He's not a stranger to burdens that only a few of us could really only fathom, let alone carry. And this was even before Scala started making herself known again. He was a man who was willing to be marred in darkness so that those who thrive in hate can shine their brightest. But he's also a man who's known sadness and hate. He's believed he's alone and able to trust those closest to him. I've known that despair born from the loss of love, hope, is worse than despair born for the sake of malice. It gets worse the stronger you love, and it's one of the things that perpetuate the cycle of hatred. Now, it may not mean much coming from me, given that I'm one of the younger Whispers, and I admit I'm not very smart about things, but I know this much. I've been taught from when I was a kid that the cycle of hatred only has one way of breaking, and that's to stop perpetuating it. To be willing to make that first, very difficult step of redemption or forgiveness, and not giving in to revenge, no matter how easy it may seem at the time. It's hard, especially when you yourself have lost someone. Either when Scala first reappeared and relatives, loved ones, were led into battle by this man or had lost themselves to despair because Scala offered them such a beautiful lie. Now I say this as someone who's angry at him. I'm angry because he left Yuki even though he said that Yuki was one of the most precious people to him. But I know he's also special to her. You hurt her. I guess what I'm trying to say is, give him a chance. If not to redeem himself, to reclaim or claim responsibility for what he's done. He can't rightly do that when he's dead.
Rebel, 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 rebel.
Okay. Rialto will stand up. She probably has to go on a little stool 'cause she's short.
You're invited to stand up on the stump where Carmen is.
That's good. Is it a podium?
It's basically a podium.
Okay, she
It's a
requests
tree
a
stump.
She requests a stool for her podium.
Okay, great.
Most of my group have taken a logical approach to speaking with you all, and I've asked you to put your emotions aside for sake of choosing a proper punishment and consequence for Martine Sunvale. Melody has also provided you an emotional testimony for his character and request to let him show redemption. I am normally one of logic, those who know me as well. But as most of you are aware, I struggle with bias for this man whom I care for. Therefore, I am asking all of you, on top of all these words, to consider something that is normally advised against in such court situations. Search your feelings and biases. Feel that grief, that dark realization that dark realization that what once was will never be again. When there is hope for change in a world, there will always be grief of loss of what was left behind. We have all experienced such grief in our own ways. Martine Sunvale has experienced this immeasurable grief, and his recourse for change was misguided, hurtful. However, those feelings are the ones that led him there. So please, feel that grief. Feel that dark loss that you wish to run away from. And then return to this moment, this important decision. This decision of what we are choosing to help change for this world. Grieve what is left behind and walk towards a future.
Carmen nods and looks to Martine. Would you say anything in your own defense? And he seems to consider for a moment. Only this. Diascala has taken much from this world. But the dawn is coming. We are near the end of this trial, and not mine. with or without me, I believe the heroes that will save this world are among you. And if you would have me, I would aid you in it. Carmen debates for a moment in her mind. You all have entrusted me with leading you. And for 10 years I have endeavored to do so. I was not born to be a leader of a resistance or trained to be such. I was a criminal. Not for any good reason. I didn't steal because I had a child to take care of. I didn't steal because I had family to provide for. I didn't steal because I grew up in some horrific situation that warped my sense of morality. I stole for the challenge of it. I stole for fun, which is perhaps the worst reason that I can imagine. I took a life, foolishly. And once not so long ago, I stood on trial, just like this. And Martine spoke for me. He stepped in and used his authority to induct me into his order, into the Inquisition. And because he did, I had a chance to find a better way to live. And because of that, I was able to lead you all. It would be very hypocritical of me to do less for him. Martine Sunvale, I hereby induct you into the Whispers in Silence. You will serve us until your dying breath, and only then will you be released from your service. Do you understand? Martine nods. I accept. Very well then. Welcome to the Whispers in Silence. Welcome to the rebellion that you once turned your back on. Prepare to fight. Prepare to lead. Dismissed. And everyone begins to depart. I would say the sense you get from the crowd is mostly satisfied. Not too many of them, I think, wanted to witness an execution today. So,
That's sensible.
yeah. So
Ferris walks over to a guy you don't know and nudges him and goes, "Pay up."
Yeah, he hands you 20 gold pieces. Granted, gold pieces are completely worthless in this era, but
I look and realize what a fool I've been.
he seems pleased enough.
Yeah, I bet.
Can
All
I-
right. Yep.
Can I walk over to where Martine is?
He's a free man, sort of.
What's he doing right now?
I would say processing is the word that I
Crocheting.
would use, as he is thinking about that he is not going to die today, but he may soon with the battles to come. But he's preparing to serve as a Whisper in Silence.
What is already dead cannot die.
Damn.
People die when they are killed.
People do die when they are killed. That is true.
Thanks.
The leading cause of death is being alive.
Damn. That's dark.
Woof.
But yeah, as you approach, he looks up and nods. Well, it seems you are all not rid of me just yet. Thank you for speaking on my behalf.
I hold up my left hand with my claws spread out.
Are you going to smack me or hit me?
No, that's how many gold pieces I put in the curse purse because of you.
Oh. I'm certain I deserved many more.
It's. I to explain this, but embracing the fact that I can be angry, kind of liberating a little bit.
Anger is a natural reaction to things. It's a way to help you process.
It is. And a lot of people, at the very least before Scala, reappeared. A lot of Dragonborns was like, "Arr, angry," and I was the natural one for it.
Melody,
It's-
there's a wide gap between anger and rage, and there is a wider gap still between rage and hatred.
Maybe anger isn't the right word for it. I learned about synonyms. Been doing my best to kind of expand on it. It's not cinnamon, so it's not a spice.
No, but it is hot sometimes. Fury, malice, rancor. There's a few more for you to work with.
Fury is about the closest I get to what I'm feeling. It's the kind of burning inside me that I can kind of draw from a little bit. And I draw from it not in the same way that Caldana does, where she kind of loses herself in the rhythm of battle, the flow of battle. This is more kind of like what I used to channel from with passion, I guess.
Passion is a good word for it. You can use your emotions in a lot of different ways. Indeed, Caldana is literally too angry to die most days.
Well, she's my horn buddy for a reason. I kind of relate a lot to her, and she kind of she lives honestly in that sense. And in some cases, I kind of envy that about her. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we should follow her example and be more true to ourselves in that sense.
Well, I have been gifted a longer life to do so. I am tired of living secrets as well.
Good, because if you leave Yuki alone again,
I know. You made yourself quite clear. Well, the good news is now I serve at her pleasure, so I will only leave her alone if she commands me to.
there might be times for that. I don't really know how much her and Melly have talked about.
I don't want to hear about that. Thank you. And he walks over to Rialta.
I was gonna say I was gonna go hug him.
He approaches you, and as you're still standing on the stump, is able to hug you at perfect height right now.
Yay!
Such a rare occasion.
I know.
Aw.
Listen,
Haha, dorks.
it's very real. She will hug him back.
We live that. We live that every day of our lives.
Yup.
So, yes.
Yeah, Sarah has something she calls the love stool, which is not as erotic as you might think it is.
It depends on usage.
Nope, not
Not
with
that
my
you've ever
sister. It
seen.
doesn't. Nope. They hug on the love stool.
You opened yourself up for that one.
They hug and hold hands.
I mean, yeah, that was the
Rude.
implication.
Don't tell him about the swing.
What?
Huh?
We don't have any what?
Huh?
For the porch, I hope. For the porch, I hope.
But indeed, he hugs you tightly and looks at you. Well, I guess you're stuck with me for a little while.
I could think of worse fates. That was
You're
a joke.
stuck with her forever.
Well,
Is that true?
huh?
Is that true? Am I stuck with you forever?
She blinks for a moment. I mean, logically, forever is a extremely long and unpredictable time, and we will die eventually, and that is not how you're asking that question, are you?
No.
If you wish to be?
Suppose we'll see then, huh? I am going to spend some time healing and practicing. It's been a while since I've utilized a sword of this size without my father's influence. So I will need some practice. But, yes. I realize now there's no good way to say that when your warlock patron is your father.
A sword of that's.
No, but
Jesus Christ.
that's all right.
That's what the kids call negative riz.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what Riz means. It's the first weird thing I know.
Anyway, I
Charisma.
hope that by the time by the time you are all prepared to go face Scala, I will be ready to, well, fight with you on the battlefield. I remember vividly that day in the keep against the disciples of Lao, how much I enjoyed fighting with you all. I look forward to doing it again.
I look forward to... yes?
No, I'll
Okay.
let you finish that and then I'll go.
Okay. I look forward to you being there. I know we are going to be, well, 2 more dread demons to go. But if while I'm here, if there's anything that you need assistance with, I can... I'm not sure how much I can help in terms of swordplay, but I can at least maybe create dummies.
I am certain I will be asking your assistance.
They do not know how to flirt.
They do not.
They do not.
Oh boy.
Haldana's just
He
gonna
used
look
to be a
o-
warlock, but that 20 charisma is gone.
Oh no! Please tell me he's got 20 strength then.
He does.
Oh, that's good. Oof.
Haldana's gonna look over at Soraya. They remind you of anyone?
Ugh.
She looks.
I'm just saying, this seems familiar.
Ugh.
I was a much better flirt.
That's true, and you still are.
It's a bit
She nods.
debatable.
You're damn right.
Ugh.
Oh, Callie, quick question. Would you
Yeah.
say it's fair that this is, like, their first time back since,
Yeah, I would say so. And she is wearing a ring that matches yours on the 3rd finger of her left hand. If what's
Perception check.
I'll say,
Wait.
what's everyone's passive perception?
Hold on. Hold
Oh.
on.
Unfortunately, Varys, regardless of perception, has a
20.
more powerful passive obliviousness.
I apparently have a 21 for my passive perception. What the fuck,
Jesus.
Melody?
I have 20.
Hello?
It's because of your
It's
bard.
your skill thing.
Yeah, it's your skill bard thing.
Yeah. I would say then, indeed, Rialta and Melody, you notice that both Caldana and Soraya are wearing a wedding band.
Ugh.
Is the wedding later in the month?
Soraya smiles. Well, we decided that we would wait until after the rescuing of the world to have the actual ceremony. More people to give us gifts.
Oh my god, you're bonding!
We are. And indeed, I'm pretty sure that the wedding ceremony you get for being saviors of the world is probably top tier.
I'd guess so.
What's hate to be that guy, but is it what's the menu?
Well, I would imagine we will have a feast that has never been rivaled on this planet.
Sounds pretty good.
She looks at you, Caldana. Do you think it's like bad taste to announce our wedding at like our We Saved the World party?
I don't think it's ever happened before.
I think
so
we
it's
get to
probably
do
fine.
whatever we want at the We Saved the World party.
I
Yeah.
like the way you think. This is why I'm marrying you. Everyone
Yeah.
feels a cold shiver run down their spine as they go, this may not be the greatest union ever.
Oh. Oh,
I'm not certain that this is a level of enabling I want to see in a wedding.
This has gotten kind of weird. Martine, I heard you needed a daddy to teach you to learn how to use your sword. I'm a daddy, and I know how to use a sword. So if you ever need any help, you can call me up.
Why am I?
Martine looks at you and says, I really wish I had been put to death. And he goes to go lay down and back to the infirmary so that Rialta's mom will stop yelling at him.
I don't get it. What was wrong with that?
I think he's just tired.
I love how you just have Martine react to Varys as you react to Robbie.
Yeah. You know what? You're not wrong. Sometimes things bleed through.
Like,
Yeah,
when you're
play
Sarai,
what
it's not
you know.
quite the same, but when you're Martine, all of a sudden.
You write what you know.
You're right what you know.
Varys, I don't think Martine's gonna take you up on that offer. Caldanus is bigger.
I know. God, I know.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not always about the size of the sword.
Yes, it is.
Well, a lot of times it is, actually. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do.
No, it
Dirks are
doesn't.
good for, like... Alright, you don't even have a sword. What are you talking about?
I have had one.
Ugh. I don't know why, but whenever I talk to you, I get hungry for seafood. Varys walks away.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, your sword is bigger and you swing it better.
Okay.
Your technique.
That's
is
the
better.
part Varys doesn't like, when you say that she swings it better. Now, hold on, what do you mean swings it better?
Well, her technique is better.
I don't think that's true at all. I've been practicing my technique for a very long time. And no one's still alive to complain about it.
Are we still
I
talking
don't
about
see you
penises?
polishing your
The-
sword every night. Caldana does.
But the problem is you haven't been practicing with a partner.
Well, that's because they're never... It's... Self-work is very important in order for form. You need to be able to keep it up so that you're not rusty.
Kelsey's
You
I
keep
don't-
telling yourself that.
Kelsey's voice speaks up.
I don't need to polish my sword every single night. When I was young, absolutely. You're obsessed with it. You're like, oh, my sword can't even get a little bit, tarnished. But when you get older, you realize that's not something you have to do every single night. Sometimes the sword is just fine laying around.
Are you
Well,
sure you're
no.
not just getting boring in your old age?
Boring? I'll have you know that when I wield a sword, these days I use some of the most fantastic techniques. Why, if the boys in the knighthood could see me now, they'd be in awe. Mouths on the ground, probably on their knees, so surprised with the stuff I'm pulling off.
Your
Just
daughter's voice
begging me to
speaks up
stop.
behind you
Hmm?
and goes, you had better be talking about actual swords.
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course
Why?
What else would we...
Well, it just really sounds like you're talking about your dick is all.
Ew, that's gross.
Varys has a dawning as he thinks back over several dozens of conversations throughout the 45 episodes of this campaign.
He's having that David Cage on Arrested Development moment.
Oh, you guys are filthy! Oh my god!
Caldana will just kind of gesture to Soraya.
Oh my... You meant for the... Because... Oh, well, Martine's probably very confused.
Just
Oh, because
former
I said...
dead demon of lust.
Oh my gosh.
Well, okay.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm here to tell you, I think it's ready to go.
Oh,
I
your
mean,
your invention.
Yeah. I mean, it's passed all the tests, and I've tried everything I can think of, and I think it's ready.
But are you okay?
Yeah. No, I'm fine. It's gonna work great.
Insight check.
Sure.
Wait. 16.
This girl's nervous as fuck.
Physically, how much sleep does she look like she had?
She actually looks like she is rested. She looks ready to
Nice.
go physically. She's no longer bandaged anywhere. She looks like she is physically healed. And yeah, she doesn't look sleepy or anything like that. She just looks nervous.
Is there?
Melody's gonna open her arms.
No. Let's let me show you. Come.
Very well.
And
Take a
she
look.
I'm going to carry her.
takes you over to. Okay, well, she is carried over to her forge.
Like a cat.
So, indeed, Kelsey has finally completed the flamethrower. And what that equates to is as you reach her forge, as always, you see the cases with the many suits of armor that she's developed over the years, her Iron Man style improving armor as she has gotten better. And then there's one that is out of the case and is standing. It is probably her smallest in size suit yet. If you all remember the first time you met her, she was in a massive suit of armor. That she just sat in the chest plate of. It wasn't even her legs didn't even her legs would have been completely separate from her and her arms as well. This set of armor is barely bigger than she is. It looks like it would fit very snugly over her flesh. But mounted on the back of it are two large canisters. Each of these canisters looks like they probably could hold... They're probably about the size of a full barrel. So I think a full barrel is like 40 gallons or something like that. These are quite hefty canisters, and they are made of metal. They each have hoses made from what looks like a rubbery kind of alloy that is coated in scaled armor. That go down to a large piece of metal that runs down the length of the arms on each arm. And she nods. Okay, well, this is my newest armor set. I call it the... I hope you don't mind this, Caldana. I call it the Phoenix Fire. Yes, I believe it will indeed be able to burn us a path through the pestilent jungle.
And
Very
what?
impressive.
Very impressive. And what are the risks?
That depends.
I'm
I would
guessing we don't let those get hit.
I wouldn't. No, I would really prefer you not, since I'm wearing it. Yes, I reinforced the canisters, so they are quite strong. But bluntly, the gelatin that is contained within them it ignites on contact with oxygen. So,
That
Well, then we just have to avoid the oxygen.
oh, right. Air. If it is exposed to air, it will ignite quickly.
Oh.
Oh.
I feel like I have to. How did you get it in there without exposing it to just kind of gesture to the air?
Do you want to see the whole process?
Yes.
Kinda, yeah.
Out of game. Kara, as a chemist, how would one do something like that?
I can tell you the modern high-tech way that she probably has no way of doing if she can't get inert gases.
Great. Then magic is the answer.
Okay.
Yeah. She basically utilized something equivalent to Autoluke's resilient sphere. to create a vacuum that she worked within.
Was that the hamster ball?
It
yeah,
is the
it's a
hamster
hamster
ball.
ball. That's why I was clapping.
Yeah, if you need like inert atmosphere, you're basically gonna get a glove box, pull vacuum 3 or 4 times, and just fill it with like argon or some other inert gas.
No, she did not do that. But
How much argon do we have lying around?
yeah. So if you'd like a demonstration, and she taps the chest of it, and the front opens up completely, and she steps in, and it closes down around her again. And indeed, this armor is so much more fluid than anything you've ever seen before. It moves like flesh almost. It is more of a weave, a metallic weave, than her prior sets, which were solid plate. And she starts to walk out. We're going to go a decent ways so that we don't burn the forest down.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I thought so. So she kind of actually takes you almost all the way to the burning line, where and decides to go there since that place is already on fire anyway. And indeed, you watch as she holds up one hand, and you hear the sound of, well, it's an engine sound, but I don't know what you would compare that to.
A roar of some kind.
Yeah, a roar, a dull roar, as it comes on, and a chug almost as this gelatinous substance is pulled down through the tube into the gun on the arms, and out of one arm, a liquid jet of lava begins to fly out. That's the best way I can describe what you see, as napalm is unleashed into the world for the first time. And she throws it, and this tree that it hits burns and just disintegrates into ash so quickly before
Okay.
she stops it. And
I mean, it
That's
seems
effective.
highly effective.
Aldana
Yes.
looks
Incredible.
a little bit like Christmas came early.
yes, I'm pleased with it. It works. She still sounds nervous.
So then, what's the problem?
Well,
If we're going to be using this, we should know all aspects of it.
I guess that's kind of it. I can't find a problem with it. Outside of if you hit the canister too hard, it could explode. But that's going to be a problem no matter what I do. I've put as much magical protection on them as I can.
So it's a control issue.
No, I think the issue is
You're afraid you're overlooking something.
no.
Yeah. Listen, the jetpack, it didn't work out quite the way I wanted to. It almost worked. But at the end of the day, all that got hurt was some of my bones. Whatever, those heal. If I fail this, you're all going to die, and it's going to be my fault. And don't get me wrong, it's going to work. I made it. Of course it's going to work. But if it doesn't work, well, I've doomed the resistance effort.
Walk up to her. Failure like that has been on the table this whole time.
Yeah.
If you didn't
It's
create,
just how things are.
if you
Don't
didn't,
worry about it.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
If you didn't create this, we wouldn't have had any chance.
That's true. Yeah, no, and it's gonna work. I'm sure of it.
Well, then I trust it completely. Fair
she
says.
nods. She nods. Okay. So you all can head out whenever you want to. As soon or as long as you want to. So if you have something you want to do in town still, you can. Otherwise, we can leave.
Can she make me some armor?
She can make you some armor. What kind of armor would you like?
Let me look it up again, because I can't wear heavy armor because I'm too weak. I think there
In
was
the
a...
meantime,
You're also a druid.
No, I have a cleric. That's why. That's the only reason I'm asking. Druids can't wear armor.
in the meantime, I'm gonna go over to Kelsey
Yeah.
And like and open my arms again.
She hugs you. Melody. In this armor, she has a very strong hug.
Good. So she doesn't have to hold back.
No, you do not have to hold back.
And Melody is gonna lift her up, and
Make a
whisper
strength check.
to her.
She is not light in this armor.
12.
Okay, yeah, you can lift her up.
And she's going to say very softly, like so only she can hear.
It's okay to fail. You just. I guess like the most important thing about failure is learning how to get back up again. And if you can't get back up on your own, that's okay because we're here for you.
She nods. Thank you.
I
Okay.
also learned about this thing called the Benichi.
Oh, what?
The
Oh, dear.
Benichi.
Oh, Benici.
That's.
So whenever that very, very loud voice starts telling you that you're all these things that you're not, just say, Benichi to Kelsey.
I think I've heard of that. It was started by Bernice Tamal, right?
I don't know who that is.
She's the leader of or she eventually became Delenfer.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. Well, she's the goddess of perseverance.
Oh yeah, and we visited her
I
temple
don't know
that
who
one
that
time.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
We visited her temple that one time. There was a book.
Caldana will kind of wander around the armor looking at it. Two things. Have you considered making this so you can swap that out and put the jetpack on here so maybe you don't break your bones?
She looks at you, and despite the fact that the armor covers her face so you can't see her facial reactions, you know the look that is on her face. It is a look of, huh.
Eureka!
I guess I could do that.
Second
Shit.
thing. I'm not anywhere near your level with this, but I could take a look at it if you want a second pair of eyes.
Yeah, yes, you're more than welcome to.
Also, does that armor kind of like, does it? How do you get in and out of it?
Oh. She taps the chest on it, and the weave of it just literally unravels away and lets her step out of it.
Oh. I'm sorry, but
Can you
how,
what?
How long does it take you to make that? Because I kind of want to. Not for me, but
A long time. It took me. This set was I've been making for the last 3 years, actually.
that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
Maybe we had like another 3 or 4 years.
maybe.
Someone who has like a build like mine, but not as like wide, but more
Breastplate,
narrow.
by the way. Breastplate.
Breastplate. Yep. So she tells you that if we all get through this, she will look at making you a set of armor.
She's very adamant that it's not for her. It's for someone like her who's more narrower,
Yeah,
more taller.
someone
Oh.
like Tashira.
Oh. I
Well,
see.
cosplay fetishes
Huh?
aside.
What?
So she takes you back, Rialta, and
Okay.
gets your measurements.
I thought you meant me. I was
No,
like,
no, no.
Damn it.
She takes you back and gets your measurements. You just want a breastplate. That's no
Yeah.
problem. That is amateur hour smithing.
I would do half plate, but I get disadvantage on stealth checks, so.
Hi, Robbie. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everyone. I assume you were playing Baldur's Gate 3. Can we get a shout out for Robbie, please? Welcome in. We're playing some Whispers in Silence tonight.
That's also D&D, but it's
That is true.
It's not Baldur's Gate.
Rialta, she asks you, did you have anything that you wanted carved into it? Any etchings?
She will request the symbol of Selene.
Symbol of Selene?
Yeah,
Yep.
Selene.
She nods, and you have to describe it to her because she doesn't know it off the top of her head. But
Alright, it is a moon with 5 stars inside the moon, with the largest in the center, and it gets smaller out.
yes, and so she makes it
know
directly
I
in the
designed
center
it.
of the breastplate, and by that evening, she has finished making it for you.
Yes. All right. Now I gotta put it on.
Do you want me to roll anything for looking over that?
Yeah, go
flamethrower?
ahead and give me a.
I have Smith tool proficiency, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to roll that in D&D Beyond, because if I click on
just-
it, nothing happens.
Yeah, just roll an intelligence check and add your proficiency bonus.
My AC is now 19.
Nice.
Nice.
Sure, I'll just roll it as that.
Part of it's because I have.
I'm
Iron
going
Stone,
to inspo that. Fuck you. Okay, proficiency but still takes that to
12.
13.
13. You look it over, and it is complicated, first and foremost. The most complicated stuff you've really ever built with your smith's tools are swords. Maybe a set of, plate mail or something like that you might have made once or twice. This is on a level far beyond that. And I mean, elves are known for their crafted things, but this is well beyond anything you've ever seen. The parts that go into the nozzle on the arms are of materials and shapes that you've never seen metal pounded into before. You're not even sure how she did that. You would walk away from it knowing full well this is probably one of the, she's a genius. There's no other way to put it. That said, as you go through it, you don't see anything that is wrong. Everything looks right. Everything looks solid, bolted down. You're not certain exactly how all the mechanisms of it work, so you wouldn't be able to know if something was wrong with that. But from a construction standpoint, it seems solid.
I'll just find her whenever I'm done with that and be like I said, I'm not on your level, and I have no idea how the mechanisms work, but it looks solid.
She nods. I hope so. Rialta,
Yeah.
you are provided with a Siltec breastplate.
Ooh.
It is a mithril breastplate.
Oh. That's fancy. I was just putting the normal one. Okay. Is that in the thing?
I don't know that mithril actually would mean anything for a breastplate because I
Oh.
don't think it gives you the stealth disadvantage.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
then
it
if
would
I had
just-
known
Oh wait,
It would
sorry.
be, it'd be half weight.
if I had known that, I would have gotten half plate.
Oh, she'll make you mithril half plate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
So
didn't pick half
greedy,
plate.
Sarah. So greedy.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yep, she makes you a mithril breastplate.
Okay, that's very nice. So it just doesn't give that disadvantage.
Correct.
Can I find that
If
in
you
D&D?
if you
Yeah,
look
there
up
should be mithril
mithril,
breast-
there'll be a mithril
Yeah.
half plate.
And
or
it's
breastplate.
Mithril,
Oh, yeah,
not
I
MY.
did do MY. Thanks
Yeah,
for telling me. I was
it's
like,
MI.
what the hell?
I made that mistake earlier today.
Tolkien spelled it with an I, not a
Well,
Y, guys.
I know,
Okay.
but
It
Final
looks
Fantasy
cooler
usually
with
does
a Y.
Yeah, but who did it first?
I know. All right, folks. Now my AC is 20.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Oh,
We
Is
have
there-
cookies.
Anything else anyone wanted to do before we set out?
Caldana would like... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Caldana figures maybe she should tell her family about the whole thing.
Oh, sure. So you first locate Namira and start with her since she's here. And as she looks at the two of you and sees the rings, she smiles. congratulations.
Thanks. I was a little bit of a surprise, but
Wow. Wow, the Kartok Tieflings are going to be excited. 2 matriarchs getting married. That's probably never happened.
probably not, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. That'll be quite the celebration. You can tell there's definitely like this degree of like she's happy for you, but also she doesn't really know you very well. She's only met you the couple times, so it's like she's being kind and happy about it, but yeah, she's not like overjoyed like say your mom would be.
Yeah.
Do you want me to I could run a message to Minas Grove if you want me to tell mom.
Do you think you can keep it a secret and get her here anyways?
Yeah, I'll tell her that that my brother, whose name I can't remember, got hurt and she needs to come right away.
Well,
Games are weird.
hopefully we're back around time she gets in, so she doesn't, you know. Okay, you aren't actually going to injure him to give her the excuse, right?
She puts her weapon away. No.
You really are my sister, huh?
That's what I'm told. I mean, we've got the same hair.
Yeah, that was kind of the first clue, really.
It looks better on me.
I
Damn.
think we'll agree to disagree on that one.
She just gives a shit-eating grin. And she nods. Okay, well, if I'm gonna go to Minas Grove, I should hurry so that I can be back. You guys always go off to fight these dread demons, and I think you're gonna be gone for a long time, but you're gone for like 2 days, so I better hurry.
Yeah, magic is something like that. Just before you go, I meant to check in with you, like, before we went to the last one, and then the bitch turned off the sun.
Oh. Yeah.
You doing okay?
I thought about what you said. You used to get pretty angry too, huh?
Still do. Too angry to die, as I believe the saying goes.
Soraya rolls her eyes. She nods. I get angry too. But, I was thinking about what you were saying, and maybe my anger is at the wrong people. I'm mad at them, yes, but what I'm really mad at is Scala. And decided that if the people in Minas Grove want to join us, I don't see why we should turn away their help. Everyone deserves a second chance, yada, yada, yada. Caldana, you've never been more certain that this person is your sister.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of give her a smile.
But if they fuck up, I'ma kill them.
Good.
She nods. I take that back. Now you've never been more certain that she's your sister.
She'll pull her into a hug.
She returns your hug.
We, after we kill this next one, we should grab dinner as a family.
She nods. I would like that. And she hurries off, and Soraya looks at you. So I was thinking I would join you all for this next Dread Demon hunt.
You did mention. Be happy
Yes.
to have you along.
Not the best healer as far as clerics go, but I can dish it out.
Realty usually has us pretty covered on the healing.
Oh, that last one was pretty tough.
That last one was rough. Although you do have the Twin Star staff now, which it occurred to me is going to be such a problem when it comes to the Twin Star staff and your Raven tattoo. And I literally went like, well, what have I done?
You also, did you purposely not make it that I have to choose an extra target?
Yes, I did. You could double up if you wanted to.
Oh, no.
Why? What have I done to myself?
I mean, so the twin ability for sorcerers is very specific.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it makes you
Um,
choose another target, so you can't do that.
Yeah,
You gave her double cast like Final Fantasy.
of like Moonbeam.
Oh, yeah. I did do that.
Okay, just making sure.
Moonbeam. No. Finger of death. Inflict wounds.
Harm.
Harm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should look over my spells again.
2 hamster balls, as Rob points out.
God,
I'm
I
gonna
wish.
put a hamster ball inside the hamster ball.
I wish I could cast Hamster Ball. Are you kidding me?
Suck
I
it.
cannot. I cannot. Someday.
But you do have someone in your party right now who can, because Kelsey can cast it.
Yes.
A hamster
So-
balls.
Yep. Artificer learns it. Varys, you said you had something you wanted to do before you left.
Oh yes. Well, we're going to be leaving soon. Kelsey, how are you feeling about everything?
It was about 8 years ago when I joined the Resistance officially. Mom said I have to. Because, well, what she wanted to say was she didn't want me to watch her waste away here and become the Forest. What she actually said was that she could protect herself and that they needed me more, which I don't think quite came across the way that she was intending it to. I got really angry with her for a while. But when I joined the Resistance, Yuki told me that one day you all would come back, and that when you did, I would be needed to help you kill the dread demon of Pestilence and Decay. And, I mean, I guess it always felt really far away, like it was never actually going to happen. It was always something I could just keep preparing for and being ready for, and I wouldn't actually have to do it, and now I have to do it. And I guess I'm not sure what there is after this for me.
It takes some time, but I think with your help, we'll be able to do it relatively quickly. There's a ritual. Might be exactly what you need in a time like this. He holds up a chunk of untempered iron. If you'd be willing to help.
Sure.
Good. I'll work the bellows, and I need you to pound this into a double-layered bowl.
A bowl? Oh, certainly.
You need a metal bowl.
Okay.
Cast iron.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can do that. She takes out a shaping dome and places it down on the forge. You can't help but be impressed. She is very strong as she lays down this massive chunk of metal for shaping. And instead of taking out her large hammer that she would normally use, she takes a shaping hammer to work with. She sets that aside and does get her large hammer because first the iron will need to be flattened. But indeed, you start to work the bellows, and you hear the loud clang as she begins to pound the red hot iron flat and into a roughly not quite a square shape, but into a roughly circular shape, and then takes the tongs and places it over her shaping iron.
Varys is going to silently continue to work the bellows and take his cues from her until we're done with the bowl.
Great. And so she does. She takes the shaping hammer and begins just to pound it flat against the side of the iron notch, which shapes it roughly into that of a bowl. She then cools the iron before heating it back up again for a second go-around, each time making it a little bit smoother and a little bit more perfectly, smooth. until eventually she signals that she's all set and takes it one last time, puts it in the water to cool, and then sets it down on the table. It is a well-crafted bowl.
Fantastic. Grand. Ferris will take out a rag and sort of wrap it. I know that you just dipped it in the water, but it's still going to have to cool on the inside a little bit. Just pick it up. Good. That's the first half. Now, that's the part you're good at. We're going to need the part I'm a little bit better at. Come with me. He's going to take her out into the forest.
She follows you. More
After
curious now than anything.
After we walk for a little bit, I'll stop, looking at one of the bushes. This. I pull a leaf and a small red berry off of it. We need these. Probably a good handful of them. And berries that look like about this. Small handful of those.
Okay.
Not if they're underripe. They'll be green then, so don't do that. And while you do that, I'll prepare the other ritualistic implement we need.
Okay.
All right. Just go gather around that. Now, like I said, we need to be focused on this. We have to get this done. We have to get it right. So he'll take it out. I'll give her my sickle. Just make sure you cut them very carefully. We want no more than an inch down on each of the trees because we don't want to hurt them. And only one from each bush. All right? So if you find one bush, then you need to go find another.
You can see in her mind, like, the logic working behind that, where she's like, that doesn't make any sense. But she doesn't complain. She nods.
It's the ritual, and we have to follow it precisely. Kelsey, just trust me on this. You've asked a big question. Sometimes it takes a minute before we're able to get the answer.
Very well.
You trust
Father.
me?
Of course. And
All right.
she goes and sets about her task, which is not a short task. It takes a while.
Okay, perfect. Tell me when she comes back.
Eventually.
Okay, great. When she comes back, she would find that Varys has set up a small, in the woods, just basically a small, very small fire pit. I've sort of dug it out with my hands, taken kindling from that I found around, snapped some small twigs in it, and the only other thing I've done is set up, basically, there's 3 sticks sitting around, and I have the bowl sitting on the sticks above where the fire has started.
Mhm.
And the only other thing I've got is I've got a chunk of wood, and I'm just whittling it down into a rod.
She returns with a handful of bright red berries.
Good.
That she makes clear were she found half of them relatively easy, and then her pickings from bushes started getting a little slimmer, and it took more time after that.
I get like that. You see anything out there while you were out there?
Wildlife, animals.
Like what?
Uh,
It's for the ritual. What'd you see?
oh, sure. I saw squirrels. I saw a family of Terracin possums, which are really very cute.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Right. How many
Um,
possums?
well, there was a mama and there was 12 babies.
I know those ones. The mamas are vicious.
Yeah, yeah. There were some birds. I saw a parrot, which is interesting because usually they're only found up in the jungle, but the jungle you can't live in anymore. So maybe the parrot migrated
Never
down here.
seen. What color parrot?
Oh, a lot of colors. It had a
Oh,
blue
sorry.
head.
Keep telling me, but plants in the bowl, please.
Oh, sure.
But what color was the parrot?
The parrot was it had a blue head, and its tail feathers were red, orange, and yellow. It had a green chest. It was very beautiful.
I'm mashing up the stuff in the bowl.
Mhm.
Right.
And yeah, I heard a wolf howl. That was interesting. The wolves. It's good to see that they're still hunting in the forest.
That is good. You know, I met one of a member of my order early on in this,
Oh.
and he said he had a wolf problem.
Oh.
And of course, as so many things these days, it just turned out to be one of the gods, doing that stuff they do.
It do be that way sometimes.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to get a moment's notice. How many squirrels were there?
Oh no. She starts thinking back. And as if she like is literally looking at pictures in her head, she suddenly replies, 11.
11?
Mm-hmm.
Altogether? That's quite
No,
big for a
no.
pet.
It was 11 over the course of the trip.
Oh, I see. Any families? We're about in season for them to be...
Not that I
Having
saw, although
kids.
one of them had eaten, had its cheeks like full up, which was very cute.
That's ridiculous. That's adorable.
Mhm.
If you could just... I got a little carafe of water, if you could pour that in.
Oh,
And I
sure.
set the bowl on.
She takes the carafe and pours it in.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, I set the... There's a stump there for you, if you just want to take a seat.
She nods and sits.
We're almost there. We're almost there. Oh. Quiet.
She nods. It usually is. The forest isn't as loud as it once was.
I take out 2 cups from my mess kit and grab the basin of herbal tea and just pour in the liquid and then hand it to her. Cheers.
Cheers. And she sips up. How does it taste?
Perfect.
Good.
Must have done everything right then.
I should hope so. Spent the better
Bulk.
part of a day working on it.
The bowl keeps heat very well.
Yes. It's how you separate the layers of the iron. You don't actually want them to perfectly press together. You want to leave just the smallest bit of gap because that's where the heat can insulate it. Sorry.
Are you sorry?
I tend to over-explain a lot.
Over-explain?
Sometimes when I get to talking about my inventions, sometimes I over-explain and people usually don't know what I'm talking about.
But how are they going to know what you're talking about if you don't finish explaining? Kelsey, please, I know I'm not quite as bright as you, but if you're going to tell me how it's worked, then tell me how you did it.
She nods. Oh, okay. So when you do it this way, you use the outer shell of it, and the thin layer conducts heat really well, and then the air on the inside of it will stay hot longer than the metal will, and then the outer side keeps it. And she goes through her explanation of how she believes it works, as Kara has an aneurysm because that's not how it works at all. But
in the middle, while she's talking, Varys, he won't interrupt, but he'll like pour a little more tea in the he'll make sure she sees.
Yeah.
But as her cup gets low, he'll top her off with the heat.
Fascinating. If you do it right, you should be able to make something that'll keep your soups warm. But it also works the other way. It works for cold too. So if you're having something that's supposed to be cold, it'll stay cold for longer. It's a miracle of insulation. It's not a miracle. It's actually just how science works.
That actually makes complete sense. I mean, I never would have figured it out on my own, but when you explain it like that, it's complicated, right? But it's also surprisingly simple. Like, the devil's sort of in the details, I guess, is the way I feel about it. I don't think I could do it after listening to you the one time, but I mean, the principle seems... Well, you explain it very well, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
The Dia Asanil find beauty in the things that are made, in machinery and science and technology, and they get lost sometimes in it. They fail to remember that all those beautiful things are based in what we find in nature. I mean, insulation is a fantastic concept, but we see it here in the forest too. There's a reason things use beds of moss to lay on. It's not just because it's softer, it also insulates you against the ground, which is naturally colder or hotter. It's the same concept. You just see it in nature.
The Diadwanadweir have a similar vice, although perhaps inverted. There's sort of a love of the iconoclasm of all these things in nature, and, well, obviously you have people like me. But then, well, sometimes we're willing to just sit there, let it be what it is. There's something I think sublime about that, beautiful, in the same way that, you know, the Diasanil will delve into something, dissect it on every level. But, well, you do a very good job of explaining it. Maybe if people are telling you, you over-explain until they don't understand, they're just not listening very well. But that's just my opinion.
I like to think so. I think it's interesting when you blend the two. I think if you look to nature for your cues and find ways to improve on it, you can make something truly fantastic. I mean, your sword and your shield are based on exactly that concept.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you already had evidence that it would work before you even started, right? I mean, look at you.
Oh, she blushes. I mean,
I'm serious, Kelsey.
She nods. She looks to the wolf tattoo that occasionally runs across her. The mechanical clockwork wolf that sprints across her arms every now and then. I loved and hated the day I got this. I never fit in. No one wanted to hang out with not the weird girl. But when I got this, it kind of felt like, even though I wasn't born a Dia, not the weird, or Dia Neil, that the Machine Prince still chose me and still thought I was a fitting champion. And at the same time, after that day, everything I made was praise be to the Machine Prince. Everything I created was no longer my own.
Sounds lonely.
She nods. People stopped seeing Kelsey and started seeing the Machine Prince's avatar.
I'm sorry. That's
okay.
Well, I guess that's the important thing of a ritual like this one. It's an old ritual. In, well, the common dialect, it's called drinking herbal tea.
Oh. She nods.
I won't lie. I just wanted to spend some time with you and have an excuse for you to stop worrying about work for so long. So I kind of made this bullshit up, and, well, I thought it'd be fun to see you, make a bowl that we could have work done together. I thought it was probably one of the only things I could, help on. So, thank you. Can I keep it?
She nods. Of course. And thank you. But next time, just let me gather the berries from one bush, please.
Do you know how long it takes me these days to cut down and find this? I haven't had to build a fire like this in months. I needed to give you the time. You should have seen me when I tried to put the bowl in this thing like 4 times. I couldn't get it stretching right. I can't have you thinking that I don't know how to make a fire now. Give your old man a break.
Back in my day,
yes.
I used to be able to make a fire with the snap of my fingers. I gotta do it 3 times.
Varys looks up. Some of the crows around here have learned to speak, and it's very... Hold on, I'll chuck a rock at it. Get him here. I'm trying to have a moment.
Up on the boughs, you see an incredibly fat raven. The fattest raven you've ever seen.
Oh my god, these things are... The fatter the raven, the more pain in the ass. I promise you that right now. Shoo! Move! He's not gonna move fast.
It opens its mouth and goes...
Alright, we're not gonna get rid of that one. That one's just... you ever played Get the Berry and the Raven? Here, watch. Honestly, Kelsey, the most important thing I want you to think about what come next is right here. This quiet. After we're done with this, if you'll let me, we're going to do more of this. And
I'd like that.
I know it'll be interrupted by your grand designs. Praise be to Kelsey and all that. Maybe we'll put that on the store. Something like that.
Praise be.
Praise be.
And she slides over and gives you a hug.
I hug her back. Put her over. And I want you to know that I meant it when I said I trust you implicitly.
Me
Whether
too.
you're not confident, I am.
All right. Well, we will see if that confidence is rewarded.
And we all die.
Yeah. So, we all head out the next morning.
Yeah.
You all indeed
Would,
find... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just would direct Rialta towards Lana.
Oh,
Yes, Lana is able to take her samples from you. She is very grateful.
yeah.
As she lets you know that she is pretty certain that she will be able to use this to devise a conversion of a spell that will get you all back. That is what she is hopeful of. But she will spend some time analyzing the results and let you know.
That's appreciated.
Yes. And so the next day, you all head out. Indeed, you are joined for the first time by two of the new Whispers, as Soraya and Kelsey both accompany you. And you make the journey. I'm not going to... Well, Melody, you can absolutely have said goodbye to Shira. And she lets you know that she will be prepared to set out for Far Home and for Mitra Centauran when you return.
Oh,
So
good. You know how to get to Farham because I really don't. It's been about 20 years at this point.
She nods. I can get us there. So, you once again sneak past the burning line and onwards towards the northeast, up in the direction of Flora and Fauna's domain. I would normally have you fight like some wolves or some shit, but you guys are level 15, so I don't think I need to have you all do the wolf encounter.
That's alright. They came up, I cast Speak with Animals, I used my high charisma to tell them to chill out.
Oh,
and we
actually,
forgot.
that actually brings up a good point. The wolves wouldn't bother you any.
No,
The
fair
spirit
enough.
of the forest would not help them do that.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's like reverse Strahd.
Yeah, basically. It's the opposite, exactly.
Yeah.
The land works with you.
Right.
Flora and Fauna's domain is horrific. It stands in contrast to everything they once believed in. What lies before you is a messy tangle of trees rotting from the inside out. Thick clouds of insects devour bark and rotted plant alike. A heavy dark green miasma creeps between the dense thorny jungle, and apart from the demonic bugs that seem all too at home here, there is no sign of life anywhere. The jungle sits like a cankerous open wound upon the surface of Serene, and the smell of rot and death is so powerful that it nearly knocks you off your feet. What's more, the entire jungle seems to be almost contradictorily alive. A twisting, shambling mass of rotted limbs, and you realize with some horror what you're looking at. A zombified jungle. Just as the necromantic arts can resurrect corpses of men and animals, you are looking upon a twisted abomination of what was once a beautiful, lush jungle.
Devastating.
Indeed.
Kelsey nods. The first time I saw it, I knew we weren't going to be passing through it the traditional way. Someone from our scouting party tried to venture in, she points, and about 10 feet into the jungle, you see a pile of bones. They fell dead right there.
Flora and fauna were goddesses of nature and of the great cycle that life and death is part of. Clearly, whatever these things are concerned only with one half of that.
And without further ado, Kelsey is going to turn on the flamethrowers and launches a blast of this molten gelatin, it looks like lava to you, out and begins to burn a path forward into the jungle. We are going to do this as a skill check. And every round, we will be starting with a d20 roll from Kelsey. On a 2 to 20, all is well. All is well for the first round. So, the first thing that you are accosted by are these demonic swarms of bugs. They are plentiful, and attacking them the old-fashioned way doesn't seem feasible, as they are bugs. What would you all like to do as a skill check to...
Get through these man-eater bugs?
Yep, we're going to do it as 5 rounds, and you'll each have one chance to help with one thing. Who wants to help us deal with the man-eating bugs?
Well, to counter your man-eater bug, I'll play Pot of Greed and draw 3 cards. Which will let me play Pot of Greed and draw 3 more cards.
Do I have... Sorry, I just redid my spell list.
Foolish Yugi
I'd
boy.
like to barf fire at them.
You want to breathe fire on them. Okay.
She said
All
barf
Breath weapon,
specifically, but...
rather.
With what?
My breath weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll accept that. Go ahead and make a... I know it's usually a save on their part, but go ahead and make an attack roll.
Melee or...
Your spell attack roll, we'll call it.
26.
26. Well, I would say that counts for a success. As you find very quickly that these insects are kind of patrolling the outer rim of the forest. They are definitely there to discourage outsiders from entering into the forest. And so at first they are kind of all about it. And Melody, you decide to take a page out of one Caldana Aristotter.
I sneezed.
No, you let yourself feel angry for a moment, and this radiant fire, this holy fire, burns up in your throat and just bellows out and fries one of these swarms of demonic insects. Doubly so because they don't care for fire and they really don't care for holy fire. That's double like garbage to them. They think that's bullshit. Yes. And indeed, as you get past this kind of outer perimeter of the jungle, the insect swarms, well, you seem to just kind of get past them. They don't seem to be here. And now it has gotten darker in this jungle. You remember the last time you were here, the canopy was always thick, but the heavy sun shone down on it, and you were able to see fairly well in here. Here, though, everything feels muted. The normally lush green jungle that you remember replaced with an ashy gray tone. And as you continue along, you run into another obstacle.
All right.
The terrain has changed a lot. Where you were on a relatively flat procession on the way in, all of a sudden things have begun to rise. And before you, there is a 20-some foot sudden rise that you have to get up. How would you guys like to deal with this?
I believe that's kind of my thing. The whole
Hold on,
climbing.
I mean, I don't know if I would say it was your thing. You did die climbing.
You did fall.
Okay, but then
All
I
right.
climbed a big ass tree.
You did climb a big-ass tree. All right. How would you like to help?
Give us all a kiss.
Basically gonna set up like they would to climb in the Kartok. I don't know. Do you want athletics or survival?
Survival, I think. You can make it with advantage.
19.
19 is enough. DC is 18, so well done.
But I had the advantage.
Glad you did. Indeed. You begin tying off everyone and explaining the process for climbing. You have done this once before when you helped everyone climb the great tree of Lockheed's Rest, but always good to get a reminder. It's been a minute, and some things have happened between now and then. And actually, Flaw, I don't think... No, Flaw, you were there for that. No, you weren't. Where were you during that, actually?
I think she was retrieving the sword with Carmen, wasn't she?
No. You must have just stayed down. You must not have gone up. You may have just stayed down with the sword.
That does sound right.
Yeah.
I don't think we wanted to take the sword up Lockheed's Rest.
Yeah, I think that was it. But indeed, you're able to instruct everyone on the proper techniques, and everyone is able to climb up this this mass of growth here. And when I say growth, I don't want you to mistake it and think of plant growth. Think more of a cancerous tumor. That's more akin to what you're climbing. And you continue on. Deeper in still and darker in still. You enter a section of the jungle that looks kind of familiar to you. Perhaps you had walked what was once this path when you made your way to the Twilight Coast. But here, what is probably most noticeable is the petrified vines that are hanging down from the trees. And as this jungle is in fact zombified, they are still alive, and prey has just walked into their nest. Who would like to help us deal with the zombified vines?
Would they be affected by turn undead?
You know what, Miss Cleric? I think turn undead would be a reasonable way to handle that. Make a spell attack roll.
All right, cool. Sorry, give me 1 second. Spell attack. Let's see. what-
Sorry.
Oh, I don't think it helped. I don't think it rolled. Okay, let me just do it like this. Oh, are you doing it, Melody? Oh,
No,
I
that's
already,
for her roll.
already helped.
sorry.
with the
It
first-
must have. Yeah, sometimes roll 20 is weird with me. 1d20 plus 13, 29.
I'll do it. You have only recently become a cleric, and you've been training with Yuki. And she has taught you how to tap in, not to the goddess, but to your faith in the goddess. How by believing so truly and so wholly, you can impose that sheer will upon the world around you. It's a new method of casting magic than what you're used to. But one of those things is the faith that you have in your new holy symbol, which glows brightly upon your armor. And indeed, as these vines race towards you, they feel the effects of it and they recoil as if bouncing off a shield. And the vines do not harm you. As you continue forward.
Cleric druid, baby. I am turning undead the evil zombie vines.
Sorry, I forgot I should roll 2 more times.
Seems
Ooh.
appropriate.
Well, I rolled a 2, but that is not a 1. You continue on, and at this point, it begins to dawn on you that while Kelsey has a way for you to get into here, none of you actually know where you're going. And she only has so much of this napalm. Would someone like to make a check to help you figure out where to go?
And can we say insight to intuit where a likely centralized location would be?
I would allow insight.
Because that's about the only way the things I'm good at can factor into this.
Very well.
My 2 highest are deception and stealth.
Fair. I would like to lie to the jungle.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I'm-
I was thinking that with the bugs, like, I'm going
Varys
to
is-
deceive the bugs as
I,
well.
I,
I'm
Varys
not
has
really
very high
clear.
intimidation. He would like to intimidate the jungle so that it parts like the Red Sea.
My skill set is not suited to this.
Interesting choice of words, Sir Varys. I would say with Kelsey at the lead, the jungle is indeed parting like the Red Sea, just not in the way you're thinking.
Balls of fire, not water.
Yeah, it's more like the Pillar of Fire. We're a bit more like Pharaoh in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
guess
that
what?
is a 27.
You detect something. It isn't necessarily your targets in here, but as you see a small stream, a river running through here, the river is chunky, I guess would be the best word to use. It's coagulated.
What?
It is
Oh.
not what the sludge that flows through the river is not good.
No.
It's a
But
viscous river.
It's a viscous river.
Ew.
No.
That's a lot of
Donkey.
algae.
That
But you-
river is
Donkey.
thick.
But you notice something in it. You notice in it a cup flowing down the river. And that tells you that there is some form of civilization upriver from here. So, that will count as a pass for the skill check. Actually, it counts as a very good success because you discovered that. And so you begin to follow that track upriver, trying to figure out what it might be. And here, in this place, ever since your first time that you dove into the mines underneath Mina's Reach, you have learned what it feels like when there is demonic oppression in an area. That horrible feeling of shivers running down your spine, things jumping out of the corner of your periphery. And it is getting stronger. It is weighing on all of you heavily. Sir Varys, is there something you'd like to do to try and help the party deal with this as we continue to move forward?
Could I cast protection from evil and good to insulate us from this oppressive atmosphere?
Make a spell attack roll. I'll allow that.
Alrighty. Spell attack. Gonna do it. Spell attack. 25.
You do. You bring up your protection from evil and good, and you can't help but feel like there's not a whole lot of the protection from good going on here. It's mostly from evil.
Oh, damn.
Actually, that's not true. You're exclusively being protected from good. The evil is what's being protected.
Right, because we are evil. So.
That's correct. You are all evil aligned. So you continue up the upriver, and indeed, Varys's protection spell does keep away the worst of it until something comes into sight. Maybe the last thing you would ever expect to see in a place like this.
Analogy?
Mom?
Monday?
In the distance,
Harambe?
you see a massive dome. From the center of this dome, a massive or a large pillar of light is shooting forth and then dispersing down on all sides. It's probably about half a mile across in diameter. And these dark energies can go no further. They cannot pierce into this dome. You see them reflect off the edges of it. And faintly within, it's hard to see through it, but you can just barely see inside plant life. You can see grass, bushes. There is life inside this dome.
Like some
Soraya
sort of
looks at
haven.
you and is like, well, that is unusual.
It's like a haven of the last vestiges of natural power in this place.
An oasis, perhaps.
But why at the heart of this place? If this is the result of the power of the dread demon.
Well, Selena had some of her ability to fight back in only ways that she knew. Perhaps Flora and Fauna have done something similar.
Perhaps. Let's be on our guard.
You approach the edge of the dome, and Kelsey reaches out and touches it with her armored hand, and it doesn't hurt her. And she pushes her hand through, kind of experimentally, and the hand looks fine on the other side. So she pulls it back and nods. I think it's okay.
Well, we should take this carefully and definitely weigh all our options. Varys gonna walk through the dome.
Okay, great. Within this dome of protective energies, life flourishes. Here, the river running through has water that is clean and untainted. You can see this foul, coagulated water come in from one end. It's perfectly clean and fine as it passes through and then comes back out once again, chunky.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh, it's chunky.
Trees have bunches of bananas and coconuts. Bushes are filled with edible berries, and vegetables are growing in this place. Makeshift homes have been built into the trees, though certainly not with the same skill that you all saw in Ash Oak. In fact, these look quite amateur. Amid this jungle of pestilence, you have truly found an oasis.
God. It's like a haven for the apes. Apes have replaced us.
A voice calls out in Elven.
Oh, damn.
Are you from out there? Looking over, you see an elf girl. She's probably about 18 years old. She's got long blonde hair and hazel eyes, and she wears a simple dress that is made from a weave that is clearly made from the local plant life.
Hello, I am Sir Varys. We
Hi.
Yes, we are from outside the forest. In another forest.
How did you travel through the forest? Or through the jungle? You should be dead.
Well, it wasn't easy, but we put one foot in front of the other, and also, my daughter here invented fire that.
We invented fire too.
This one never stops burning, really. So
That's a good fire.
Well, it depends on what you want to use it for, but yes, for what we needed, it did really well. So yeah, we cut a path, so to speak.
She nods and looks to the rest of you, and she speaks, though her words seem uncertain. I'm sorry. I haven't talked common in a while.
Doing very well. As I said, I am Sir Varus. These are my companions. We're
Hello, Elvish.
called the Whispers in Silence, and well, we come here looking for someone.
Oh, I've heard of you.
Oh,
You have?
You're the one Scala was looking for.
oh, yes, that's interesting. We were
I'm-
looking for her.
I'm sorry. My name is Emmeline Whispersong.
Whisperstone. Oh,
Uh,
well, pleasure to meet you.
She nods. I'm the healer of this village.
I
She
see.
looks very young to be a healer.
Yeah. There are many of you here, Evelyn?
Emmeline.
Emmeline, I'm sorry.
There's about 25 of us.
Oh,
Please, come in. I'll introduce you to our leader.
Very well.
grand.
You're all welcomed into this village, and there are a couple things you notice very quickly. Every single person here is an elf, and they are all very young. There is probably not anyone who's even in their mid-20s. By elvish standards, there's not even one of them who'd be considered a full adult at this point.
But they're all over 10.
They are all over 10.
Okay.
Yes. The youngest one that you see is probably in her early teens.
Oh boy. This is not a happy story.
But you are brought to a man who is currently working out in one of the fields, cultivating vegetables. This elf is in his early 20s and has deep brown hair to match his eyes. As with everyone else, his clothing is simple and made from cloth weaved from the local plant life. There is a lot of whispering going on and a lot of kind of excited chatter. Clearly, it has been a very long time since someone has come to visit. She knows. Salen, these are guests. They're from outside, and Salen gives her a look like, "Oh, really?" I'm Salen Palmwalker. Very nice to meet you all.
I'll introduce us in turn.
Mm-hmm.
We are the Whispers in Silence, and it seems you had someone here looking for us.
No, we escaped someone who was looking for you.
That's better news.
Yes.
How did you survive in this place? I mean, I can see how you survived, obviously, but this protective shield.
Why don't you come in and make yourselves comfortable, and I'll share the story with you. Emmeline, would you, we will have dinner early tonight. Please make sure that there are bowls and cups for 7 extras this evening. And she nods. Yes. And have Giselle help you too. She nods. And
Quite
they
kind of you.
Yes. I apologize. I don't have a spare house at the moment, but I could make you a campground if you don't mind. It doesn't rain in here, so you won't have to worry about being rained on.
That will suffice.
Piece of land that we can camp on would be more than generous.
And you are provided precisely that. They get you a small spot of land that is in between kind of where some of these vegetable patches are growing and kind of what they have designated as their city circle. It's not much of a city circle, but it is that. And they all, everyone, you can't help but notice that, like, everyone is interested in you. You are being watched constantly just by people who clearly want to talk to you, but are like, it's not our place. We're not supposed to. We should let the leader do it first. And everyone seems very excited. But ultimately, it's after a little while that you are all brought a bowl of food and a cup of water. And the implements are all made from wood. Clearly what they could scavenge from around here. Resources being limited as they are, and Salen sits with you all. Please forgive everyone else's curiosity. We haven't seen someone else since we were in Moon Bay.
Ah, you're survivors.
Nods. Yes. Yes. After Moon Bay fell, we were taken prisoner. The Dread Demon wanted to use us to lure out the matriarch. She began to kill us until the matriarch showed up. And the matriarch offered her life in exchange for ours.
I see.
She, Scala, accepted, and we were free to go. Evelyn, that's her name, told us that if we went to the west, we would find succor, that she promised that. So we did. And that's all we could do, is we traveled west. And a few days later, God, it must have been longer than that. It must have been a week. Everything began to change. The jungle began to rot. It began to fester and become what you see now. And just as we thought we were all going to die there, we came across a staff. It was made of black ebony and had a amethyst the size of your fist as the head of it. And when I touched it, this dome of energy erupted out of it. And it's been keeping us safe here ever since.
Do you still have that staff?
We don't dare touch it. If it turns off, that would be it. So we don't really touch it. It's in we have it encased in a house, and he points, and you can see that kind of in the main area there is a large hollowed out stump, and the energy is emanating up through the top of this stump. It's within there.
Right.
But we named this grove Evelyn's Promise.
We have reason to believe there is a dread demon in these parts. Have you ever encountered them?
No, they've never come this far south.
See. Good. So you're saying that they'd be north, then?
He nods. Yes. They've never come this far south, but their servant has.
What do their servants do?
There's just one.
Just one. A man?
He nods. He wears black armor.
Does he have a sigil?
A badger.
I see.
He tried to enter into here, and the light burned him. He would come occasionally and try and coax us to leave, promising us protection. Some of the younger ones wanted to go, but I wouldn't let them.
Of course.
I have no business asking kindnesses of you. None of us are trained in the arcane arts. Would someone be willing to inspect the staff and, I don't know, tell us if it's okay?
I can detect magic if you'd let me.
He nods.
She'll begin the ritual casting.
He takes you first into where it is, and indeed, it is embedded in the ground in a rock, and it is a staff of black ebony with a massive amethyst head. And as you see it, you realize that you recognize it. You have seen it before. This staff belonged to Morena, the avatar of the Twilight goddess Penumbra.
That was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
What journey took it all the way up here? We'll likely never know.
I guess down here, technically.
I suppose you're right.
And indeed, you cast your detect magic on it. There is a powerful abjuration spell emanating from this. I mean, the staff itself is a powerful magic artifact, but the spell emanating out is very strong magic. Why don't you make an Arcana check for me?
Sure. Oh, I only have +1 to that, so 15?
15's enough.
Yay.
It has been casting this spell for the last 10 years. And while the fonts and reserves of this staff are great, they are not endless. And you are aware that just momentarily linking minds with this staff and connecting your etheric energies to it, it will not last forever. In fact, it doesn't have a ton of time left. That isn't to say it's going to burn out tonight or tomorrow or the next week, but probably within a span of 6 months to a year, this staff's energies will fade away.
All right. I will approach the young man. I have good news and bad news.
Well, we have not had a lot of good news in a long time, so that would be welcome.
Good news is that I believe this is a gift from Penumbra.
Penumbra?
We have seen this staff before and the person who wielded it, and that was the goddess she served. And it is indeed a powerful abjuration spell that has been protecting you all.
That makes sense. Penumbra was always a guardian of Moon Bay.
The bad news is it is not an endless spell. 6 months to a year, it will run out.
Frowns. We had always feared that would be the case. After all, nothing lasts forever.
And the good news is we are here. And, well, I can't promise exactly what's going to happen, but we have to face those dread demons. And perhaps by facing them, either afterwards you can come with us. We have safety for you, for all of you. Or the jungle, this decrepit jungle will fall and it'll be easier to travel.
We know of a town where you can be safe.
Truly.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes, there have been many who have been working to resist Scala's influence for a very long time.
Are you aware what Escala has done?
We haven't seen anything.
I thought so.
The world
Well-
is very different outside.
For right now, it's probably for the best that you don't. How do they look?
The in general?
Like like malnourished or anything like that?
No.
They thick?
I wouldn't say they look malnourished. They are indeed a group of children who had to figure out how to be adults and live in a society and form something. And it is a difficult society to live in, given that the entirety of their livable space is a half mile.
We do live in a society.
But they have managed. They look like they have been nourished. As you see, there are fields with vegetables being grown that they've figured out how to do that. And they have they can forage bananas and coconuts and berries and things like that. They've clearly managed to figure out how to make simple, basic clothing and even housing for themselves. It isn't to say that, it's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, for a group of kids that couldn't have been more than 13 at the oldest when they first came here, they've done quite well. And Salen does tell you that he was picked to be the leader because he was the oldest,
Yeah.
and for no other reason. He was 13.
Yeah.
Our youngest was Giselle. She was only 3. We don't know what to call her for a last name. She doesn't remember hers.
When we take you back, you can decide your own.
I'm sure she'll be happy to know that. So you're gonna go fight a dread demon, flora and fauna.
It's what we're best at.
We have a pretty good track record, not that we expect it to be easy.
Not to sound ungrateful, but if you go and die, I'm assuming no one knows we're here.
We won't tell a soul. But as far as making sure someone else knows, there might be something we can do. Sending messages is
I was
not
gonna say,
easy.
doesn't Rialta still have a stone?
You could try.
I can try. Could
It's
also
better than not doing anything.
could also go back to my spell list and learn messenger bird. Animal messenger, sorry. Do I need to roll to do that?
Roll. Yeah, you don't want to try and send an animal messenger out of here. You're not gonna like what happens with that.
Fair
But you can
enough.
try and roll a d20. See what you get.
I think I have 3 actually. So that's a 9, so that's a no.
That's a no.
Okay. I got 2 more, guys. 17!
That'll work. Your first one fizzles out almost immediately, but your second one, you are able to get a message through.
You forgot to charge the first one before we left.
Who would you like to message, and what are your 25 words?
Oh, honey, you know I have to, type it out.
I know you do.
Oh, man, my computer's, not working and letting me open Notepad. It's really irritating. Anyway, I guess I should message Carmen.
Okay.
Why
Why don't you go ahead and work on your message, and while
Okay.
that's happening, as you all come back out of this kind of what you sense is a holy place for them, or at least where you're not supposed to go. As you all come back out, you see Kelsey, who has stepped out of her armor now, and she is reading to a young girl who is sitting next to her. This girl has raven black hair and silver eyes, and more notably, she has a burn scar all across her throat, as if a fiery hand had once picked her up by the neck. This must be Giselle, who is she looks to be the youngest one here. But she is in rapt attention as Kelsey reads to her. And Salen mentions to you all, we don't have any books. Most of us are illiterate at this point. We've forgotten how to read.
Know plenty of people that will be able to help with that instruction, including myself. Many of us know how to read, but, the group that I used to be a part of, we all had to teach each other.
Yes.
How hungry are you?
Well, we eat well enough. Obviously, mostly vegetables and fruits. There's very little in the way of meat that's available in here, but
You've done an
we-
incredible job. There are...
Thank you. Luckily, Emmeline's father was a farmer, so she remembered a good bit, and she's a very he whispers, her Nadwir spirit manifested for her early on, and she became our healer. She's able to cast some basic magics. Saved our lives many times, actually.
It's grand.
Yes, and without her, we'd have all been lost for certain.
Oh, what I'm asking is there something you would like?
Yes. Well, I mean, if you're offering to prepare food, it's been a while since we've had anything more complicated than vegetable stew.
I
I
can
have-
make some.
I have a question. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Did Kelsey's burning, did it get grown over or is it burnt? Is there a path?
It has grown back over, but I would say you could certainly tell where it was. It looks different.
Okay. Well, I will try this message then.
Village of young people in middle of forest, miraculously under Penumbra's protection. Follow Kelsey's burnt path to find them if we cannot lead them after. You receive a message back. You said Carmen you're messaging?
Yeah.
Carmen messages you back after a little while and says, affirmative. We will wait a week. If you do not return, we will set about following your path.
I relay this to the group and to the leader.
Salen looks rather gobsmacked, I would say, as he is stunned at the realization that they might just get out of here. He had long ago made peace with that. He would probably spend the rest of his life here. Well, I truly can't thank you enough. I wish I had anything to offer you. We only have what we have here.
Just the fact that you're alive is enough.
Well, praise be to Penumbra and praise be to Evelyn.
I'm glad to hear that your last act was.
We watched her die. She died a hero. Well, if you're okay with it, I'm going to allow the other residents to approach you or speak with you if they like. I'm sure you're going to be bombarded with about 1 million questions.
If there's anyone who is ill, I can assist.
I will have you speak with Emmeline about that. I know she has a small infirmary that she cares for people in.
Well, I can do the same.
Excellent. And you do. You spend the evening talking with these kids who are blown away to have conversation. If you are speaking to them in common, they definitely struggle a little bit. Many of them have not spoken common in a very long time, and the younger ones never learned it. Like Giselle only speaks Elvish. But indeed, most of them are able to at least have a conversation. They remember their high school common. They don't necessarily remember it fluently, but they can get through, a few sentences. Yeah. And you go to assist Emmeline in the infirmary. There are a couple of kids who are sick. You don't sense that it's anything, life-threatening, but better safe than sorry.
Rialta, can you check this one? I think he has cooties.
Sir Varys, I believe you are, confusing that with chickenpox.
Oh, damn, and I touched him. I never got the pox.
Okay, well.
Well, thank God I'm immune to diseases.
That's true.
That's true.
Circle, circle, dot, dot. All right, now you have your cootie shot. He walks away. But actually, he did lay on hands to cure him.
Okay. And indeed, the magic rushes through him, and he is cured. And he sits up in surprise. And Emmeline has an almost annoyed look on her face where she's like, "That's really good magic. I can't do that." But she does cure wounds on someone and shows that she can do that. And Rialta, you recognize the magic. She is a druid.
Oh. Well, she will approach her. It seems that you have learned your source of magic similarly to mine.
Oh, my Nadwir companion taught me.
Connection with nature, of course.
Yes, my Nadwir companion is not the most talkative or exciting to be around, and indeed, as her companion appears, it is not an animal or a spirit in so much, in that a little strand of ivy begins to grow up along around her neck and then down her arm.
Huh.
Yes. Willow is, well, as I say, not talkative, but nevertheless, I was able to take great instruction from them.
Well, you will... What were you going to say? Oh. You will learn more, I am sure, but perhaps when this is over, I can show you some more of our ways.
Yes, where we're going, the Nodweir have a very old. You see, I'm from this order, and we had druids, and the Nodweir have a very old order of druids, and of course, Rialta here is an excellent teacher in the druidic arts. But when we get back, you'll be excited to see there's still some of the old obelisks.
Oh,
Yes.
fascinating.
Yes, and you
Oh.
could also meet well, there is a sort of nature spirit, I guess. We kind of dated at one point, but she was a pretty good druid. So that would be neat as well, I guess. I would start with Rialta. She's also not very talkative. So
Okay. And indeed, you all kind of settle in. Fala, did you say you had something you wanted to do?
Fla assassinated one of the children.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
crazy.
No, I assassinated all of them.
Oh my.
No,
You're not allowed to.
You
though.
are
this game
evil.
This game doesn't let you kill children.
Oh yeah, this game is
Um,
like Oblivion. You
well,
can't. They just run
no,
away.
would definitely, like, in the course of that, teach them some of, like, the hand symbol aspects of Thieves' Cant and everything.
Oh, cool.
Like, once we get into that, they're having issues with the language thing. Well, here's the thing: you don't need
Yeah.
to worry about different words.
I like
I'm-
that.
I'm guessing Caldana and probably Soraya do the same with Windspeak.
Yep. So I mean, Soraya can speak Windspeak. Yeah, she had to learn right quick when she went up into the car talk, try and become their matriarch.
Varys is
she
at
can
first
speak
nervous about what those two are going to teach the children because he thinks they're too young to learn what those two want to teach them.
Windspeak.
But once he sees it's Windspeak, he calms down.
I mean, give it a few years, they'd figure it out on their own.
That's how it's supposed to happen.
Listen,
You
you have
in
an
a-
entire community full of teenagers here.
It's supposed to happen
know
in a
what's up.
mossy alcove with the smell of birds and other foul animals around you.
No. We are. There is no reason to leave it to just trial and error. Sexual education is good.
No,
Yeah.
nature's definitely the best teacher, I think. That's how we do it in the order, and it never went wrong.
Melody is going to sing a bunch of songs to them.
They are fascinated by that melody because there is not much available for entertainment here. And so what they have gotten quite good at is singing. There is nothing for them to write with. There is nothing for them to read. One of the few forms of entertainment they have is storytelling and singing. And so as you begin to sing, the children begin to sing with you and they are, many of them, quite good at it.
Nice. I'm gonna.
You have a little
gonna-
chorus going with you.
I'm gonna pizzazz it up with dancing lights and digitation as well. Give them one hell of a show.
I think this will be a night long remembered in Evelyn's promise.
I had something in a similar vein, actually. Probably like after dinner when everyone's, all around, Caldana will look at Soraya. So, you and I have never gotten to spar. What do you say we give him a show?
Oh, I don't know. Do you really want a bunch of children to watch you lose?
Sure, they'd love to tell that story.
So, the match is on. They have not witnessed combat in a very long time. You make an agreement for no magic at the beginning, mainly because her magic will traumatize children, so we don't really want... they don't need to see an inflict wounds spell. So you just do sword and shield and practice and spar with that, and many of them are quite fascinated to watch. They obviously remember seeing combat, although it was pretty horrifying at the time, but they remember, some of them, the oldest of them might have been squiring by that point and preparing to, become soldiers or guards like their parents had. So, yeah, there's quite an audience for it, and I would say that tonight is the closest to normal that any of these children have had in a very, very long time. And I think that's a lovely place for us to wrap up tonight.